What's up, guys? Good morning. It's about 5:40 a.m. here from IT Park. You know what it is already. Uh, Doing another long format video. Um, some people will disagree, some will agree. It's whatever because I know what I see. So, the topic of this video today is the demasculinization or feminization of men globally. Um, Of course, what that means, if you don't know, is a powerful socio-economic propaganda push to strip men of their masculinity. And this is being done. It's an attack from all angles against men. And what this is doing is empowering, perhaps, if you allow it to, if you allow them to empower it, is others that are not men. Say that, because I guess there's however, like half of the world thinks there's how many genders now, and half of them think that there's only two. Um, However, even if you don't allow it, don't feed into it, the fact of the matter is it's happening all around you and me as men. And at some point in the future, there's not going to be much you can do about it, because in the future, to be a man and to be masculine is not going to be socially accepted. Everything else will be, you name it. Gay sex, excuse my language, which, I love the gays, but uh, uh, violent, anything you can think of that is outside of the box will be accepted. The only thing that won't, that's actually inside the box, that's normal, that will not be accepted because of these factors that I'm about to discuss, is masculinity. Um, Now, before I get into the whys and how it's being done, let's first step back and think about motive. Okay, why would the powers that be, which are essentially tech companies, okay, and old money, we'll call it, you can find the names, why would they want to strip men of their masculinity? Well, it's not to give anybody else more power. That's just a residual benefit. Because if you give other people that are not men power and leadership, slowly the world falls apart. A lot of it has to do with that, helping the world fall apart, but most of it is because without men, there's zero chance for rebellion, and the powers that be establish all dominance and control over the globe, over the entire planet. Um, Countries that are being most affected by this right now, or should I say regions, I think North America, Europe, and Australia are the most heavily affected. Um, Second to that, honestly, truthfully, Asia's pretty affected too. Um, Men are doing their own thing out in Asia. They're very masculine, but the demasculinization of men has hit hard because a lot of Asian women now, just like North America women, just like Australian women, just like European women, they're not mating, they're not reproducing, they're not going on their dates with men of their own country. And that's for a variety of reasons, but it all leads back to demasculinization. Um, so, how is this agenda, which is one of many agendas that's being pushed globally? is that agendas were pushed, and a large part of this agenda was the demasculinization of men. Part of that is that you don't see many males posting content, so you know it's a slant. It's a skewed slant. You see a lot of females posting content, so people are engaging in what females are engaging in, which is that's fine. But the issue with marketing and things that females interact with is almost everything on the planet is marketed towards women, because corporations know that if I'm a corporation, I know that if I can sell a woman, if I can market to a woman, they'll buy it. It doesn't matter how broke they are, they will find a way to buy it. Men generally are working for their own money, things like this, so therefore they're managing stuff better for the most part because they earned it. And even if they didn't earn it, even if a woman earned her own money, these products, and I like to use iPhone as an example, these products are pushed down women's throats so hard. Beauty products, iPhones, facial treatment, right? Like it's like a salon. A salon is always busy because even if the women have no money, they're going to figure out a way to get it. They don't care if they ask that their husband, their uncle, whatever. They're going to get money so they can get to the salon. So back to Facebook. You have, within the first 10 years, you have basically almost every guy on the planet like obsessing with his online crush that she's posting content basically every day. This is already a bad dynamic. Just in biology, and we shall say the animal kingdom, men are not supposed to be following women around on social media or in real life. You walk up, you want to get a number, chit chat for a second, that's cool. But if unless you're in like a long-term relationship and things are a mess and you got to go get her, guys, that's cool. But this dynamic on social media, I would challenge you guys to ask yourselves, how many female stalkers do you have? 0? 1? I don't know what the number is. How many male stalkers, admirers, we'll use the word admirers, do women have? Thousands? Hundreds? I mean, probably at least 50. A woman that's a little older or probably pushed her social media when she was longer, those numbers can get up into the hundreds and thousands. I've seen accounts with tens of thousands of stories, and these are like regular girls. They're not famous. They're not well known anyway. They're just regular people. I look at these phones and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. When I see other girls' phones, this is insane. So there's a problem right there initially with the male-female dynamic, the demasculinization. Because if I'm a female and I'm getting 1,000 views on my stories, on my TikToks, whatever, I'm able to be naturally selective, which is great for a woman. However, and dare I say that a soulmate was missed or a really deep connection would have been missed, because on the other side, yes, we understand that there's 1,000 admirers and these guys are completely obsessed and crazy about you. And most of them are Sims. Don't even get me started. I'll talk about the Sims later. But also, it naturally forces her to say, wait a second, right? Why would I make a move? I'm going to sit back and wait for the perfect person, at least in their mind. It also gives people false hope because, or men false hope because a lot of stories and stuff that are posted, like a woman will not post it to try to send a signal or a cryptic message to a guy, but most guys will take meaning out of stuff that has no meaning on social media, and they'll just fall harder into this demasculinization socioeconomic trap, because honestly, those men, instead of sitting there viewing stories, they should be out lifting weights, getting money. They should be structuring their day, making schedules. They should make a list for their girl, for their families of what they need to be done. They should be leading with goals and achievements, getting stuff done that way. And whoever likes you will follow. And if nobody follows, push harder, guys. So Facebook did a lot of that. The TikTok really rolled it out hard too. The way TikTok did it is with the dancing. that really killed guys, because you see a lot of guys TikTok now when they choose to upload, and I mean, guys, they're boring. You know, I mean, let's be honest. What would you rather see on TikTok? A dude talking like me, or would you rather see a beautiful girl doing a little TikTok dance? So TikTok played a big factor in this as well when that got released on the scene. I mean, I don't know how long it's been, 10 years that TikTok's been around, 8 years, something like that, 12 years. The social stigma, and I don't know where this came from, of always like the white knight thing. Okay, where did this come from? I don't know. I'll give you an example of white knight. Okay, a man and a woman are having a heated argument in the street, and we'll just leave it at that. And you will get a bunch of these white knight simp dudes standing around looking, waiting to see their chance to save her or whatever. I don't know if this came from popular culture, and honestly I don't think it came from popular culture. I believe that it came more from desperation, because right now a lot of men are just desperate. I'd probably say the majority of them. They'll sleep with anyone that looks any kind of way, acts any kind of way. They have no standards, no boundaries, they don't know their type. Just, it's like any girl that has a pretty face or whatever, they are trying to white knight them. And pro tip, guys, white knight never works. Never try to save a girl. You might get her for a second, you might get in her pants or whatever, but you ain't gonna get her long term. Now, if you walk around confidently, if you assert yourself, if you stand up for your principles and beliefs and core values and stand on business every day as a man, is frowned upon by the general public. So most men can feel that, and instead of feeding off of that, most men, instead of feeding on, you should be feeding off of that. People should get offended that you're confident. You know, people, you know, you walk in a building, you need your chest out, you need to have fun with people, you need to engage. And in a lot of ways that should offend people. And the reason it offends them at a core level is because they're not able to operate like you. But it's taken to a different level with the defeminization, because they, instead of just strictly admiring, you might walk into a room with 30 people, and instead of just admiring you for your confidence and being a little hateful because like they ain't got the swag that you got type of thing, they will literally like sit there, most of them, and say like a bunch of mean things to their friends or whatever. If it's a group of guys, if it's a group of girls, if it's a blend, whatever, they will say a bunch of mean things to their friend, like, man, that guy's such an asshole or whatever, you know. Look at him, how dare him come in the room that good. Wow, he's having fun in here? Wow, that's crazy. Look at him, and sitting at everybody's table. What a terrible thing. It's on and on and on. So I think that the push to follow unjust rules and regulations has also demasculated men a lot. In my other video, I used vaping as an example. I really don't care what anybody says. This stuff is completely harmless. I vape more than pretty much anybody on the planet. I've been doing it for 10 plus years. All day, every day. I do a lot of exercise. I do a lot. So it doesn't matter what I'm doing it. If this is an unjust thing that's going on, or, you know, what happened to me the other day, the sign said no right turn, but you have to turn, there's nowhere to turn, people want to harass you for it, push back, you know, stop folding, assert yourself, stand up for yourself, because what's happened now is society as a whole is just laying down to all sorts of things that are just absolutely insane. You know, you go to a cashier and they're out of change, and they give you 100 pesos and 1 pesos. That's unacceptable. Tell them that's unacceptable. Go find me 100 pesos. I ain't carrying around 100 coins. But now everybody's laying down, and this lay down, most of the time, unless you're like a real madame or something that really just rolls through society, just telling people business and handling business, most of the time this stuff will initiate with a woman, because a woman is not as confrontational biologically, unless she's alone with her partner and she's like mad or something, she'll confront her. but on a societal level, they're not going to confront as much. And then this seemed to like ripple into men amongst like simps, if you will, and like homosexuals, which is fine, you know, because a lot of them are like very feminine. But then it started to ripple into the masculine men, and for me personally, when I see a masculine man getting pushed around in public, like it's really sad because it almost kills their like mojo or their ego, like, not their ego, but their mojo. It kills their mojo, and you can just see it in their face. You can see it in their heart. You can see it in their body language as it's happening to them. There's an entire energy and mental and spiritual shift that happens when this stuff happens day after day, minute after minute, blah 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 in public. And that's why it's always important, if you actually are masculine, you consider yourself masculine, to always stick your chest out. Another thing that I've seen now is like there's not a lot of like fighting going on between men. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm certainly not endorsing violence. At all, but you know, if someone is really doing something unjust or unethical, and they're not like another man, okay, if another man is doing something unjust or unethical, or engaging in certain things like with you as a man that are just totally unacceptable, and you've tried every other thing, like as a man, you can't be afraid to throw down. You know, that's extremely important. I don't want anybody to get in trouble out there. You got to be smart. But let's face it, at the end of the day, we're animals. You know, if you need to protect your girl, don't stand there like a little sissy and let her protect herself. That girl's gonna lose all respect for you. It might not happen that day, but she will. If you get a situation where somebody's being real disrespectful or whatever, and you tried other methods, you know, don't be afraid to push a little. What's the worst that can happen? Get a broken nose. Another thing I see is social media has pretty much killed the dating game and like marriage for the most part, because now it used to be in the olden days that if you were a prominent male in your town or in your area and you had one of the best females in that area, that's just how it was, because there was no social media. Like, it's really hard for them to meet somebody else. And honestly, if like cheating and scandals did happen, like it was almost always out of the workplace. You know, the guy's wife might have a job as a nurse. He's a great guy, he's prominent, but oh wait, she's been working with this doctor now for 5-10 years and she's gonna give him a chance. But it didn't happen, like stuff like that didn't happen often. Like you'd hear about it from like one or two families in your local town. Now it's totally different. I definitely don't endorse adultery or cheating, even on a boyfriend-girlfriend level. So what I'm about to say, like, I don't endorse engaging in this. I'm just telling you what happens, okay? If you're a man and you're dropping content, and also, I don't do, like, for me, like, I'm cool. I'm not talking to people on the internet. Like, I'm cool. I got my own mind and my own life. But for me, everything these days comes down to, like, social media and clout and money. And you get people that say that doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter. It matters who you are as a person. Okay. Then I challenge you to open your phone and let me look at your social media. If your words are true, let me look at your shit. No, that's my private space. Okay. So when you have a financial system that's broken, when you have a financial system that's global, when you have a transit system that's global for fair prices, when you have lodging that's global for fair prices compared to international levels of money, and you combine all these things with the technological age and social media, you have a scenario. You have a perfect storm, if you will, for demasculinization. Because as a woman posting all these stories, you can find a great man. You might fall in love with him for 1-2 years, and you might still be in love with him. But you know that you have 500, 1,000 admirers on your social media account, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, the simps are going to be simps. But one day, I mean, it's just statistically impossible not to happen. One day, her new Mr. Right, if whoever she thinks is more handsome or whatever, is going to slide up in her inbox or slide up in her views or whatever. And the day that that happens, you're basically history. And if that happens, you better fight. You better throw down, because that's the only way you're going to get stuff back. That's the only way, because at that point you got to go biological and instinctual. The same thing applies for men. If you're a man and like you're with a girl and you actually post content, and then a better woman shows up in your inbox and starts getting in your head like, dude, what am I doing here with Fatty McFatterson? Well, we don't know what you're doing. Maybe you were desperate, I don't know. But now you got supermodel whatever in your inbox, and it makes you really think about stuff. So, I mean, just me personally, like, the way I've learned to combat all this over the years, you know, people can call me immature, they can call me whatever they want. Honestly, I could care less, because I'm probably more successful than most of you watching this, and I have seen more of the universe and the world, and I've also have more books read under my belt than most people that view my content. Not everybody. There's some of you out there that are way smarter than me, like, and carry yourselves like on another level. The way I combat this is, number one, never be afraid to get in somebody's face and throw down. That's a big one. Women love that stuff. They say they don't. They're lying. Number two, don't be going on girl stuff. Like, unless you've been in a relationship for a long time, don't be going on your crush's stuff online. Like, if your crush didn't give you action after like a month of you like engaging in her just as a crush, like, dude, stop being on her shit, block her, like, get a new crush or whatever. And also, with that, like, try to stop following girls online. Do your thing, post your stuff, and let them come to you and select and pick, just like they're doing now, but they're not supposed to be doing, because we're supposed to be doing the selection and the picking as men. But the problem, like I say, the problem is with the social media now is that it's very difficult for men to do that, because the dynamic has changed and the opposite sex is used to getting all the followers and all this stuff. So you have to shift it back in your direction by being cool, calm, and making your selection with what you have available. And there are different ways to increase your options of availability, which I'll talk about in a different video. You know, I love the gays, but another demasculinization thing is this big push of popularity towards homosexual culture. Like, also you have a lot of kids like that have no friends and they're getting bullied at school, so they'll just go identify with these groups, and it alters the entire course of their lives, and it puts ripple effects through families. It impacts fathers, you know. Women in the workplace, that's a big one too. You're getting a lot of female CEOs and executives now, especially in countries that are not the West, or like even just bosses of like local businesses. And I mean, we've all been in these businesses. Some of us have worked for companies. You can't have them running the game at a business. Like, how many times have you walked in a laundromat or a store or whatever, and the lady's having a great day and the conversation is great and everything's cool, you're buying your snacks, you're buying your Coca-Cola, whatever, and the next day you walk in the same store and you would have thought this lady came out of hell herself. You flip that, you get a man behind the counter, you don't have those problems. That guy's basically going to smile and do his job every day. Same with executives, CEO staffs. These companies will go for years. This is what happens. Almost every single corporation, major corporation, this has happened to, and small business. You'll have two lines that start out equal on a chart, and one line will be ran by a man, a corporation ran by a man, and the other one will be ran by a woman. And they'll start off down here basically equal,
And the corporation for the next 10 or 20 years will shoot off fast. It'll go very fast. the profits will rise quickly when it's ran by the woman. And they'll trail a little bit if you mirror the corporation that's ran by a man, but not much. And then after about 10 or 20 years, the emotions and the workplace drama and all this stuff that's basically being created by the CEO herself will collapse. The entire company will collapse. And what will happen? It will end up getting sold off to another company, or a new CEO will be appointed that is a man. Because when women run companies, and this is part of the demasculinization, when women run companies, if there's a female president, whatever, they're using their emotions. I don't want to use the word as a weapon. I think that's a little strong, but they're using their emotions and their appearance and their influence. Like, people know they can't touch them. They're a woman, they can't touch. Like, there's all kinds of factors that go into play here, and they're using that to accelerate whatever agenda it is. If it's a presidency, if it's a relationship, if it's a business. And when you have that come into business and you have that come into politics, it's a dangerous thing, because the business or the political agenda will accelerate much quicker in the short term. But when you're engaged in the moment, 10 years, that's short term. But 10 years actually is not short term. Like, it's a long time. At the same, it's both. I guess 10 years would technically be a midterm amount of time, because I think technically 5 years is like a short term goal. But 10 years is a short amount of time for a major corporation that is supposed to be around until the end of time. Corporations never die. So you will see these factors that they utilize as tools to accomplish the agenda of the company. But because of all these factors that they're naturally engaged in every day, it leads to a total collapse of the company, of whatever. It might not just be a company, it might be their personal life. I mean, how many times have we seen women that had mental breakdowns and we're all looking at them like they're crazy? So I say all that to say this: you can't blame these people. You can't blame the male side, you can't blame the female side, because at the end of the day, on some degree, we're both victims in this thing. Like, this is the first time in history we've had smartphones. This is the first time in history we've had internet, high-speed internet. This is the first time in history we've had 5G internet. And this is the first time in history these AI tools are being implemented. This stuff has never been tested and analyzed before. These companies that are engineering these models, there's really no oversight. A lot of the stuff that goes on is ran through computer systems first to generate plausible scenarios and outcomes, which is excellent, because you can generate and predict almost anything that can happen in a simulated model. However, what you can't predict is human behavior, and that's what we're seeing here is tests and models that are being implemented on platforms that are degrading society globally. And what has not been accounted for is the natural reaction, human behavior and instinct that shifts and changes within each of us every second of the day. Another big one that's been going on for a while is music, magazines. There's a lot of value put in the face right now. Nightclubs are good too. Like, if you go out drinking with a group of girls or whatever, or just your guy friend, the nightclub model is broken. It's been broken for about 15 years now, or 20 years. It all changed about 15 or 20 years ago, and now the value, which is not value, but the value is placed on if you have a table or not, or not only that, if what club you're going to and what the cost of the bottle service is, which is the dumbest thing ever, because literally every single club that I've ever been in, and I used to run clubs in Baltimore City, every single club that I've been in, anybody that has a table is boring. They are being so boring. It is such a boring night. They're all sitting there looking stupid. You just overpaid for a bottle. Why wouldn't I take that $1,000, $5,000, however many dollars I paid for this stupid $50 bottle, and put a down payment on a car, and then I'd be balling out every day. Why would I take that money and spend it on a bottle just so I can sit at the table and be boring and not get up and dance and engage and have fun and meet people, which is technically why I'm at the club. And not only that, these clubs have pushed this dynamic. It's a demasculinization dynamic, because most of the time people that are sitting at tables, unless they're promoters, are not masculine men. The promoters usually are masculine. Anyway, that model's broken, and it's led to a lot of this too, because a female sees the nightclub and stuff and they want to experience the nightlife, and when they get in there, this is all happening and hitting them, and most of them are not able to step back and logically analyze what's occurring. When I go out to the club, just to close this club point, I never buy bottles, and I sit almost at everybody's table for free. Doesn't matter where I'm at. Why? Because I'm masculine and I'm fun. That's why. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm not scared to sit at their tables. I don't know these people. I've never met them in my life. Just go up to them, sit down, start get stuff popping at that boring table. That's all. You know the table's boring. You know you're a fun person. You know you're not scared. Go up, get it popping, have fun. And guess what? Suddenly you got free drinks, free snacks, and it doesn't even matter. Like, whatever. You know, not that I'm looking for free stuff, but why would I go in a nightclub and pay anything at all unless there's a cover charge to get in? Like, it doesn't even make sense. Everybody's in there to spend money. Nobody's in there to stand around. So, if the money's flowing and everybody's boring, all you gotta do is turn it up, and you're the life of the party. Nightclubs, on the other hand, are actually interesting because that model does defeminize or demasculinate men, but at the same time, if you're a masculine man and go in and kind of do what I do and turn the club up, well, now all of a sudden, like, it's like respected and like people are having fun and stuff. So I don't know, it's kind of a dynamic that but you see a lot of, like, what I call fake masculine men stand there like this, like, but they're being boring. So whatever, it doesn't work like the masculine one that gets in the mix and turns up the party. The phone is really big, honestly. The phone is a big thing because Apple has pushed this thing where the iPhone is almost like girly in a way, like the design, like the corners are rounded, like the metals that are used on it, like, you know, like everybody you see on social media, the females have to have iPhones. And in their mind, because it's marketed to them, like, you're not cool if you don't have an iPhone. Well, you know, I guess I'm not cool then. And I don't know who Apple's marketing team is, but these people are sheer geniuses, and they're definitely investing way more money into marketing than they are product development, which is obviously where the money should be. Like, we want better phones, and these phones haven't changed in 5 years. Like, all the hardware is the exact same, except maybe a camera upgrade. So now what's happening in their mind is oh, you're not cool if you don't have an iPhone. Even if they don't acknowledge that on a day-to-day basis, or even worse, they'll think that they're not cool and they haven't made the right choice in life if they don't have an iPhone. And this has led to more deep masculinization of men, because dare you walk around with an Android or a computer guy in the subconscious of a woman that this product has been marketed to so strongly, so effectively, da-da-da-da-da. One day in their life they're going to think, wait, why does he have an iPhone? To answer the question, I mean, I don't have to answer the question in this video, it's off topic, but to answer the question, why don't I have an iPhone? I mean, I got the best Android money. Why don't I have an iPhone? Why don't my friends have iPhones? Because we're computer guys. Like, we like to crack into stuff, we like to hack stuff, we like to play games, and it's very difficult to do all that in a jail, what we call Apple jail. The girls, you guys can have fun in Apple jail. Don't ask me to buy any apps. But anyway, guys, I think I'm going to jump into the next video here later today. Oh yeah, one more thing. I did get my favorite shirt. I found my favorite shirt today. So today we're just going to have fun kind of trolling around and making some heads turn. And Have a good day, everyone.